Hello, Will here, and today we are back in Skyrim for the 100th episode of the Skyrim Revisited video series. And so, with episode 100, I thought I'll do something a little bit different, rather than just the normal standard mod review. And we're gonna basically look back at a few mods that I've selected into the ways of these are it's like a best of to a degree. Probably not massively in depth best of, but a small little selection of the mods that I think just worth mentioning again. So it is kind of a bit like one of these kind of like best of videos. So obviously, there's a winner in each kind of category. The category for like player home, graphical, overhaul, blah blah this, blah blah that. That kind of style of thing. And this is going to be what we're doing for episode 100. Now, just to explain some things about with a couple of these categories. So for example, we got player home and we got graphical and basically like graphic overhaul. Which graphic overhaul is going to be different to weather and climate. So and there's a reason why I've split those up into two different kind of categories, because it just makes it a bit easier for me to pick one out. But also for example, with player home and the graphic overhaul, there is not going to be like one specific mod, because the mods that I've picked are basically done by the same author. So the player home and graphic overhaul categories are basically it's more to do with the particular modder rather than the mod, but their mods will be shown into which one, or a couple of them will be shown to basically just show off some of their work. But it's also because with the graphic overhaul primarily, is because a lot of the time you have to it's recommended that you start a new save file, and I'm not going to do that just to show off a specific one, but I will explain some of the mods that they've made. But right, so with that basically out of the way and explained, we're going to move on to category number 1, which is right. So the winner for a player house. Now this is going to be more of a mod author rather than a singular house. Is Lids S3L3L. Now I couldn't choose one particular home of theirs, because they've done quite a few, and they've always been very good, very well designed. And oh god, oh yes, fly away, dragon, please fly away. Don't come over here, dragon, don't come over here. Are you freaking serious? Go away. This was the first house that we looked at, made by Lids S3L3L. So we're gonna have a little look around. I'm not going to go into details about everything to the house. You can find that episode, so I'll leave a link in the description to the actual episode. So we're going to have a little look, and I'll give a reason as to why it's basically the winner. Okay, so why is Lids? I'm just going to call them Lids for short, because it's just easier for me. So the reason why Lids player homes, effectively is the winner of the player home category, it's because you just get a lot of bang for your buck for a player home. And to be honest with you, sorry, Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. Actually, that's whoop. But yeah, now the reason why is because another reason why to a degree, it's basically it's kind of sort of like, there's something about Lids homes that if you don't check out the mod author's name, but you went to the home, or if you've at least played in one Lids home before, and then you download another one, not realizing it's a Lids home, when you enter the home, you will question, is this a Lids home? And then you'll check, and it will be a Lids home. Because they just have that kind of, I don't know, they have their way of doing their homes. So it's like, for example, one thing that they always have is lighting. You know, you can always turn the lighting off, turn the lighting on. There's always toilets all over the place. We're just gonna shut that. But no, there's always that same stuff in every single home that they make. That just, it's their stamp on it, I would say, which is like lighting, an actual toilet, especially, and then with all the, like, sorry, Serrano, but you know, you can have all of this, you know, functioning faucets, toilets, functional lights. It's always bigger in the inside than it is on the outside, all the time. Then just very uniquely and nicely decorated, and you know, and compared to a lot of player homes I've come across, not all, but a bunch, a Lids home is a home that I could actually see myself using. If I decide to use one, I will use them. And if I decide to use one of them, then I will probably eventually basically use all of them. Because I have the multiple follower system installed, I have the relocate NPC installed, I can fill up the houses. And I'll happily fill up Lids homes. You know, there's always the baths. Fancy weird baths as well. I don't know, I don't know where Lids is from. I think possibly Japan? I'm not 100% sure on that. But they always seem to have like the big main bath you're washing and a little tiny one that you just sit in. But yeah, so yeah, without going into great detail, obviously you can go check back on the episode when I cover this house in particular. If I remember, I'll leave a link in the description to that video, so you can check it out from there when I go into a bit more depth of the house. But yeah, so the winner for the player homes in the ways of the player home category is effectively all of Lids, S3L3L, all of the homes that they've made. I know that might seem like a bit of a cop-out, but I couldn't pick one over the other. They're just that good as a player home, especially on PlayStation. That has to be mentioned, it is on PlayStation, and so that is your winner, Lids, S3L3L, and all of the player homes that they've created. Alright, now to move on to the second category, which the second category is Alright, so the winner for Armour / weapon mod is, well, when the Sipping Giant in, I'll give you a few seconds to work out who it is. Yes, it's pretty obvious who it is. So this is Overhaul, and it is basically the Dark Souls gear. As the bonfire will surely tell you. So yeah, so the winner for the Armour and Weapon mod category is Dark Souls gear by Overhaul. So why is this one the winner? Well, it's just because you get a huge, and I mean huge, selection.
And not just some weapons as well, but obviously armors. And trust me, there's a lot. I mean, we're still going. We're still going. We're still bloody going. Still going. Still going. As you can see, a lot. To quite simply put it, there is a lot. Yeah, we're still going here. Yeah. I mean, like...
There you go. Finally, we've got to the end. Jesus Christ. But yeah, as you can see, there is a lot to select from. But also, there is also another reason as to why this is a winner. It's more of a personal reason to myself than actual, like, confided reason to everybody else. But it was thanks to this one, the Dark Souls Gear mod. This was the one that sort of made me to start trying to think on seriously on how to try to do this kind of style retextures, because I was doing retextures before, but I was I was doing some retextured weapons and retextured armors, but I was never able to still keep them, have them keep their actual detailing like what they are here, for example, with all the white lines and stuff like that. They never had those. And it was thanks to this move was the point where I was starting to really try and figure out how do you do it. And thanks to Overhaul, he explained what I needed to do, and ever since then I've been able to do it. So, so it's a winner for that kind of personal reason as well, but also just by the amount of stuff you get from it. Just loads and loads and loads. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go and spend ages like showing off a load of them. I've already done a video on that where I've shown off a few pieces. But also, I want you to go and look through it all yourself. Try on different items. Try on different armors. Try out different weapons. Have a look. See which ones you like, which ones you don't like. Because there's bound to be some that you don't like, but there's bound to be some that you do. And you got plenty to choose from. So, you'll be stocked up for days with all this armor. Stocked up for absolute days, man. Days. But right, so, to keep this short and simple. But yeah, so this is the winner of the armor slash weapon mod category. And of course, I will, if I remember, I'll leave a link in the description below to my original video of this. And as well as with the previous mod as well, I will leave links to the mods that were already shown. Because I mean, like with Lid's house, for example, I'm not gonna link all of them, but I'll link the raw exit house, and I'll do the same with this one as well. So here we are. This is your winner for the armor slash weapon mod category. So right, moving on to category number 3, which is going to be. Alright, and here we are with the winner of the dungeon mod category. Now, if you haven't played this one, I'm not going to be showing off too much about it. I'm not going to be explaining all that much about it in the ways of the actual story behind it, this, that, and the other, because I want you to play it for yourself. I want you to try it yourself. Basically, so this is spoiler free, but I'll explain why it's the winner. But the winner is Science 49's The Wandering Ones. Now, why was this the winner of the dungeon mod category? Well, yes, you don't get the biggest reward at the end of it. There's not tons of treasure and tons of powerful items and this and that and the other. But on a technical scale, there's nothing else like this mod-wise for PlayStation, let alone pretty much in Skyrim, in the base game of Skyrim itself, from as far as I can remember, really. So, on a technical level, this up there, very technically a technical achievement for a PlayStation mod. So yeah, the rewards aren't the best, but technically, on the technical level, boosh. But I'm going to keep this one short, because obviously I don't want to stand here all day, but neither am I actually going to spoil the actual mod for you. So if you want to try the mod for yourself, and to see why it's the dungeon mod winner, then you'll have to go to the description below, and there will be a link to The Wandering Ones. But right, moving on to the next category, which the next category is going to be. Alright, and here we are with the World of Space category. Now, technically this one does fall into a bunch of different categories because it's a world space. There's also technically a dungeon. There's a player home here, but obviously I've already done the player home category and I've already done the dungeon category. So this one's going to take up the world space because there's not that many world spaces on Skyrim for PS4. There's only a few that I can think of, but this one's just by far is by one of the best ones, just because of how much work has obviously gone into it. And the winner is Somerset Isle, Armour by Crystal Tower 15, and it's ridiculous. Now we've got some enemies to deal with very quickly, but that's not great because you got enemies. Okay, now we've got that out of the way. Took a little bit longer than I was expecting, but now we've got a day. But yeah, so you've got, you know, there's new enemies for you to fight. There's this whole new land, which, you know, nighttime it looks brilliant. It looks very, very different. But the thing that quite amazes me about this one, to be honest with you, is the fact that there does not appear to be an issue with LOD. Which, if you're someone who, does modding and is trying to build a world space, is actually very surprising. Into which I have no idea how Crystal Tower has done this. But yeah, it's just by the fact that there's been a lot of retexture works, a lot of stuff has been retextured, a lot of stuff has been uniquely designed. There's nothing like it else this at all in Skyrim. There's nothing like it at all. It's very unique. But then you even get a nice fancy house. Now you do have to technically go through the dungeon to get the key to the house. Now I was arguing it's cheap, but then this is already unlocked, so I don't need the key anymore. What the hell? Oh, look at that! We even technically get a dragon to fight as well. Oh, how lovely! Is he gonna be any problem? Nah, he's too busy fighting crabs. But yeah, so it's not like you come here, it's completely peaceful. I mean, Bastet's scared for some reason. I don't know why. Why are you scared, Bastet? Well, don't know what Bastet's scared. I know it's a dragon, it's very scary. But yeah. So we're just gonna it's gonna let the dragon fly boot. But it's just because that's the reason why it's the winner, because it's just so unique for a Skyrim mod. So I'm not gonna show off everything, so if you want to have a look at this for yourself, then there will be a link in the description below for you to have a look at it yourself. But it is just extremely unique for a Skyrim mod. I mean, you don't see any other houses like that in Skyrim at all. So that is why Somerset Armour is the winner, because it's just completely unique, and has obviously had a lot of love and work and dedication put into the mod itself. Right, so the winner of the world space is Somerset Isle, Armour by Crystal Tower 15. But right, on to the next category, which is going to be Okay, so here we are with the graphical overhaul category. Now, this is the other category that where earlier on in the video I explained about that there was a couple of categories where there wasn't one specific mod and it was more of a collection of mods. This is the second category where it's sort of a collection of mods, but it's gonna be more of a point out to the actual mod author rather than a particular mod. And in this case, for the winner for this one, it's Jalaya. With a lot of her graphical overhauls. So obviously Jalaya is the mod author of well, obviously Jalaya's Dirt Replated because it's right there in the bloody title. As I think it is with with a lot of her mods actually. I think she puts her name in it somewhere. So I just wanted to show off like one of her graphical overhauls, and one of the ones I'm running at the moment is one of her more recent ones where she changes textures of a lot of the kind of buildings that you will get in like the small villages and stuff like that, like Riverwood or Falkreath or in Dawnstar. You know, it changes the textures of all those kind of farmhouses. As you can see, this is no longer normal wood. It's something a little bit different. Uh, the River Trader is now made out of stone, not wood. I mean, it's still got wood, obviously, it's still got a wooden aspect to it, but the actual walls, for example, are made out of, they're made out of stone on the bottom, but it's got more of a woody kind of texture and an engraving on the top. Farmhouses like this are now made of a different kind of stone, you know, and it does this with every single farmhouse style building across the entirety of Skyrim. But also July also has done, again the dirt replacer. You have July's Rift and All in One texture overhaul. She's also done a caves texture overhaul, Imperial Dungeons texture overhaul. She's got a lot of texture overhauls, and this is just to give you a little taster of some of July's overhauls. But yeah, so the reward doesn't go to a specific mod, but it more intends to go to more of a specific mod author instead, into which that is Jalaya. So I will leave a link in the description below to like the farmhouse one, and I'll probably put a couple of others Jalaya's texture overhauls in the description as well for you to have a look at, to check out. But yeah, so the winner of the graphical overhaul is not a particular mod, but Jalaya, the author of these kind of style mods. But now with that one out of the way, let's move on to the next category, which is going to be a bit more unique on the premise of, because I haven't actually done a review on this one, because it's a kind of type of mod that I don't normally tend to review, and that is okay. So yes, the winner of the weather/climate category is gonna be Hearts of Azeroth by Be Very of A. Now obviously Be Very was not the creator of this mod, but merely a porter. Now obviously I believe that they've ported this over, but they have been working on it to get it to work for PlayStation. And it is a weather/climate kind of style mod. And it's just, the night sky look. I've chosen night sky because I think that's where you can see the best result. It's sort of like going from evening to night time. It's where you can really see the results of the work. Because during the daytime, it's mostly just bright sunshine, so you don't see the work gone into it as much. But it's like you just look in the night sky. It looks so pretty. Yes. And yeah, so I mean, I don't normally tend to cover these type of mods on the channel anyway, because they're not always the easiest to kind of cover, because it doesn't always translate so well onto video. But this is one of those ones that if you install it, you will notice a difference. Guaranteed, you will notice the difference, especially at the night time. Especially when you have Massa be at its most fullest kind of thing. It's like a full moon of Massa. That's the big red one. When that's at full moon and it's a clear night sky, the moon itself, Massa, is so vibrant. It's a very vibrant red, and it just looks beautiful.
Is a good defense, am I right?
So the only one of weather type mod that I have shown on the channel before was also from Be Very Bay, which was Shadowlands, and I didn't mind Shadowlands. I thought that was also pretty good, but I think Heart of Azeroth just trumps it, and you will see an immediate result. So there's not really much else I can say, apart because again, it's a bit harder to show these on video because of bit rates and all that crap. So your best bet is just to go to the description below, click on the link, download it for yourself, and try it out for yourself. And you tell me if you do not notice a difference. Simple as. Alright, so yes, Heart of Azeroth, I'll get the name right. Yeah, Heart of Azeroth, ported and uploaded by Be Very Bay, is the winner of the weather and climate mod category. But right, we're going to move on to the final category. But just before we do move on to the final category of the video, I do want to just give out some honourable mentions. These are just mods that, you know, they weren't winners, but that doesn't mean that they were bad. They just didn't make it basically to the number one spot, but they definitely do deserve a honourable mention. So the honourable mentions are going to be The Maze by Chixinator. A very different kind of style mod that you don't really see that much of in Skyrim, to be honest. So that's why that one gets a honourable mention. We also have the Recolored Replicas 1 and 2 by Cyan49. It just allows you to create a whole bunch of armors from, especially using a lot of the armors from the Creation Club mods.
Yes.
And this does a load of retextures. You get loads of different colours, and it's just very nicely put together. I mean, obviously it's not going to win the category because you know, it's just it's kind of hard to explain why it wasn't the winner, but it definitely does deserve the honourable mention. We also have the Retexture Shop, or Murgar Shop, by Jalaya. There's another honourable mention there because, again, a lot of retextures went into it, a lot of work has gone onto it. It just didn't get a winning spot on the premise of because myself, I don't use it that much, but my partner does. So obviously I got it installed in my game because my partner likes to go to Murgar Shop and buy clothes and armors from there, or just take it from the chest and not worry about paying a penny for it. So that's another honourable mention. Another honourable mention is Path Stalkers by Scarecrow. So that one is just because you get a nice selection of followers. There's basically a very nicely decorated out lodge where they all are. It's a very well put together mod. We also have Sanctuary in the Skies by Koi Noir. Again, that was a very ambitious. I will say it was a very ambitious mod for what it is. So gets an honorable mention because obviously it took a lot of time to make, a lot of work has gone into it. So it definitely deserves an honorable mention. We also have In an Altar House by Woodap. Don't know. I just like that house. I mean, it's unfortunately it still doesn't have a proper kitchen as far as I'm aware. It needs a kitchen, but the house in general is very nicely laid out, very nicely decorated, and is in a very nice location. So it definitely deserves an honorable mention. And the last honorable mention, which is more of a series of mods rather than just a singular one, is the Lost Akabiri series by Silent Gaming Geek. Now, the only reason why it didn't actually win categories is just because it can sometimes be, especially with the second one, it's primarily the second one, the 7,000 steps. It can be a little bit much for the PlayStation and the game to handle at times. So it can be a bit frustrating on that part. But in the ways of the work that's gone into it and gone into the other two of the series, and technically the pagoda that's on Solstheim, the amount of work that's gotten into that entire series is basically been pretty amazing. The amount of work, the amount of detail, the uniqueness of the locations. But it just has some things that hold it back. But that's not directly a problem that Silent Gaming Geek can directly solve. It's just unfortunately the game decides to be like, fuck it. But it definitely does deserve an honorable mention. But right, now with our honorable mentions out of the way, time on to the final category of this video, which is going to be the final category is race mod, which this is going to be custom races, demon, the forest nymph, and the siren by Julia. So why does this one win as the race mod? Because it's the most customizable for race mods in the ways of unique race mods. Now I know Julia also did I think it's the character editor or something along those lines. I can't remember the name directly, which just basically allows there to be more options in when creating races. You know, just the general in-game races like Breton, Dark Elf, High Elf, what have you. But this one won because it's the races themselves that are actually completely unique. You know, so you got the demon race. We also have the forest nymph race as well. And my personal favourite one is the siren race. And these races, they have their own unique abilities, they have their own unique look, they have their own unique powers. They've also got actually technically kind of unique looking armors as well. But I'm gonna let you lot sort of like mess around with it all, this, that, and the other. But but it's just that there are obviously other race mods out there. It's like just like to point out, it's like, for example, you got the Tetra, the Tetra race mod, which made by me. You got the Alien race mod, which was also technically made by me, which is from a different mod. But obviously I'm not going to pick my own for this. But I've played other race mods, and it's either the actual race themselves are very lackluster, or they're just literally a carbon copy. Now, I mean, like the Tetra and the Aliens are, they are obviously based on other ones, like in all the in-game things, but they've had some alterations made to them to allow at least to make it seem a bit more unique. Whereas Julia's custom races is very unique. And so that's why Custom Races by Julia wins the race mod category. But right, so that is it for this video. That's it. Yeah, it was probably took a little bit of time to put this together because it was a pain in the ass. But yeah, that's it. Now, if there's a mod that you really liked, and it didn't feature on this list, or it didn't feature up in honorable mentions, that will more likely be because I haven't played it yet. And if I have played it, it might have just been, it just wasn't there for me, sort of thing. You know, I may have still liked it, but it just got picked at the post by a different one. But let me know in the comments below, what would have been your winners for each of these categories. Now, your choices, they don't have to be ones that are featured on my series. They could be ones that you've played and that haven't featured on my series. You know, blah blah blah. But what would you put down as your winners? You know, let me know in the comments below. So I want to see. I want to see what other ones people have played. It might even give me an idea of like, oh, I might actually cover that one. Actually, that seems to be quite popular. I might cover that one in a feature video. You know, helps me get some ideas as well, but also gives me an idea of what kind of mods you like as well. Because as a modder myself, it might help me get some ideas. But right, so that's going to be it for this video. So if you did like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and click on that notification bell. There will also be a link in the description to my Discord, where you can follow me on Discord and you can leave mod suggestions on there. You can ask me about modding in general, make mod inquiries, and keep up with whatever mods I'm working on currently at the moment. And also just on there for general banter, whatever that banter may be. But alright, with all that said and done, it's time for me to get out of here. This has been Skyrim Revisited episode 100. Now on to the next 100. Possibly. But more than likely. But anyway, enough babbling. Time for me to get out of here. So until next time, I'll see you all later.